The secrets of the debt clock revealed. Backtrack. Now we're going to talk about something depressing, the depressing value of the dollar. And it all started with Woodrow Wilson. But there is hope, and that hope can come in the size of a mustard seed. So let's explore. We are continuing our backtrack of the U.S. debt clock from the prior messages. I'm able to capture most of the old ones now, but some are gone forever. But this series of messages, I think, is quite powerful, and I think we will get a lot from it. As you can see, the debt climbs, but this is from later November now, $33.7 trillion. And we can see in this message we are looking at Woodrow Wilson, and Woodrow Wilson's words here are quite profound here, because we can see that there's a little bit of regret in this quote from Woodrow Wilson, whose presidency actually started out, as kind of more of a conservative presidency, but he became the bastion of progressivism and started really the progressive movement that we still know today and has completely infested our government today. Woodrow Wilson says here, "I am a most unhappy man. I have unwittingly ruined my country. A great industrial nation is controlled by its system of credit. Our system of credit is concentrated. The growth of a nation, therefore, and all our activities are in the hands of a few men." He laments, "We have come to one of the worst ruled, one of the most completely controlled and dominated governments in the civilized world. No longer a government by free opinion, no longer a government by conviction and the vote of a majority, but a government by the opinion and duress of a small group of dominant men." I mean, think about that. He's looking back through his terms as president, and of course, most people understand now and know that from history that he actually got incapacitated by a stroke in the latter years of his presidency. But one of the first things that happened under his presidency was the Federal Reserve Act, which was passed essentially by an opinion and duress of a small group of dominant men on December the 23rd, 1913. Yes, indeed. And that is a pretty scary notion, how it was basically tricked through the ways in Congress, dating back to the meeting at Jekyll Island by the most profound men of the age. And this was a small group of men, and very dominant men in this time period. And so it passed through, the president signed it, and now we are still we're still suffering as a nation because of it. Well, because of the U.S. dollar's purchasing power, which has fallen dramatically since its inception of the Federal Reserve System that was created late that year in 1913. And since then, what happened to the value of the dollar? It plummeted dramatically for a time, and actually it's pretty amazing to see how this has occurred through up until, I guess, the beginning of the war, towards the end of his administration. And then we saw the Roaring Twenties come back, and we saw the efforts of, managing this Federal Reserve and encouraging, the use of gold and silver, because think about it, gold and silver were still used as money in conjunction with the Federal Reserve throughout the time up until the Great Depression and what we saw happen in 1933. In fact, the dollar really increased through even the Depression, the beginning years of it. And we can see how it gained strength. And a lot of it, I think, it has to do with a coexistent gold standard and utilization of gold and silver coin as money, as mentioned in Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution. But what happened in 1933? Franklin Delano Roosevelt did his gold confiscation. Essentially, you had to turn in your gold by this executive order that he gave during that time. And then we saw the movement from 1933 to 1944 and the beginnings of World War II. And then we saw the Bretton Woods Agreement, which provided convertibility of foreign currencies to the dollar. So the dollar became the world's reserve currency then, and people had trust in it because, well, the dollars were converted to gold. So they could hold dollars and redeem them for gold. But then, it's not a direct, so we had a quasi gold standard then. And we saw the dollar decline fairly dramatically since then. And now we have led to this declining dollar, and all during this time, it was illegal to own gold. And so essentially, we really did have a fiat system and under Bretton Woods for the longest time, until 1971, when Richard Milhouse Nixon, in August of that year, closed the gold window. And that means no more gold. And at that point, the dollar was worth 25 cents of its worth back in 1913. So in 1933, it was worth 77 cents. By the Bretton Woods system, it was worth almost half that, down 55 cents. And by 1971, the value of the dollar decreased to 25 cents. And that's pretty dismal. Now, fast forward to 2023, look where we have gone. Even though the curve has leveled out, the decline has leveled out, still, it's declining. There's not much room for it to go, right? In comparison to 1913, where it is now worth 3 cents, and probably even less than that by some measures, considering where inflation is right now. It's pretty dismal, but how can we protect ourselves? What can we do? We can take action. We can take action. We've been able to do so legally in this country since 1974, 1975, and that is we can own gold and silver. And so owning gold and silver and understanding the value thereof, if ye have faith as a grain of a mustard seed, nothing shall be impossible unto you. Which means this is an overall general message that we can recover, we can restore this country, even now, even what we are seeing around us. We can certainly restore the greatness of the country. And so look at this: mustard seeds. Mustard is yellow, gold is yellow, and we can become great. And that's part of how we can do it, by having gold ourselves, with individual liberty and responsibility, being fiscally responsible as we accumulate the gold and silver, and holding on to it, but understanding that it has a track record. It's very easy to have faith in something that has proven itself over thousands of years, as the national debt clear here between those 2 days has really increased there, as you can see. So there it is. So I hope you found this video insightful and educational as we backtrack into the debt clock and capturing older messages here. And let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. Hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. I want to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for watching, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.